That record button. Here we go.
All right. Welcome back. This is the Living Good with Jakeb Livengood podcast. I'm your host, Jakeb Livengood, something like that. We've got a guest today. This is Mr. Tyler Boys. And Tyler, how goes it, man?
Hey, what's going on, Jake? How you doing, brother? It's good to let me turn off my phone real quick. It's good to be here, dude.
I
Like
need
we've been
I
we've been
need your
talking about this
undivided
for a while.
attention, bro. Undivided attention. Okay.
We we've been talking about this for a while, dude. It's been crazy that we're finally here, dude.
We're locked in, man. So dude, I'm thinking probably we just dude, how's the weather over there, man?
Dude, I woke up this morning and it was snowing outside.
Did you like that?
Literally snow, dude.
Yeah,
No.
baby.
No,
Yeah,
no, no, no.
baby, bro.
Dude, I'm currently working right now on top of entrepreneurship, and I work outside, and so I really can't be having it snow, dude. It's a little chilly on my
You
fingers,
know
you
what
know what I
fixes
mean?
that, bro?
What's that?
Ice baths.
Yeah. Dude, speaking of ice baths, I've been seeing you do ice baths consistently now for what, how many days? You're going on, have you gone a year yet?
We're pushing 320 days. The goal is 366, but I actually started 3 months prior to starting the progression on social media. So I'm over a year consistently. And dude, when I started, I was doing like 60 degrees because that's when you get the cold shock proteins. Now I'm putting Epsom salt in my tub, 50 pounds, so that I can bring the temperature below sub freezing. And I'm doing 27 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm still just like I'm trying to get it even lower, but I just can't. But
I don't think you can unless you're taking, you know, and this girl, the Ice Queen, I don't know if you see her on TikTok at all.
with the she mallets it out. Yeah,
Yeah,
bro. Yeah.
yeah, a frozen lake, and she's, comes up out of the water, and she's got this big brick of ice or whatever. It's like, dude, that is crazy. That takes a lot of willpower to be able to
100%.
do an ice bath. I've been watching, what's his face? I'm pretty sure he was your inspiration, the ice bath. He's been
Wim
doing it every
Hof.
day.
Fully
Oh,
in,
is that Wim Hof?
fully out.
No, the other guy.
Oh,
The other
oh.
guy on, Instagram.
Yes. Jordan. Jordan makes videos. Jordan makes videos.
Jordan,
Love him, dude.
I just watched him do his 600 plus day video the other day, and he got in there and he was still, I mean, it's just, he makes it look so easy, but even then, he was,
You still see him catching his breath. No matter how many times
yeah.
you do it, that you always are still triggering the fight or flight response, and it's insane. Like every day, I still dread getting in there, but after I'm in and I'm regulated, I'm like, dude, this is the best. Like I love this. Yeah, bro.
So what is the ice bath like? What is the benefits of ice baths? Everybody talks about it,
Yeah,
right?
bro. Yeah.
I'm curious as to what it's done for you in the past 320 days.
Are you looking for are you looking for just like the bro answer or the science answer or both?
I think both, right? Like
Okay.
I know discipline is a big thing,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like doing things that make you uncomfortable, which we hear a lot of big people talk about. Joe Rogan, for example, always talks about, get up. You don't want to go to work, you don't want to do the ice bath, get up and do it anyways. Whatever you don't want to do, you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
Discipline, I think for me, I struggle with discipline. And so I'm sure, if you could speak on that a little bit, how
Let's
does
do
that work?
let's do the science answer first and then I'll go into the bro answer, right? So scientifically, this is what's happening. As soon as you get into the cold water up to your capillaries, what you're going to experience is called a peripheral vasospasm, which means that your central nervous system thinks that it's dying. And so all your blood vessels constrict, mega, like massive constriction, and shoots all your blood to your vital organs, right? Because your body, you're triggering your fight or flight response and your body thinks it's going to die. So your you get shortness of breath. And so what you want to do is focus on those long breaths, and as you do that, your central nervous system, you get it regulated. That's why it calls, regulating. And then your blood vessels deconstrict. And this is when you have a 800% spike of dopamine and serotonin that lasts up to 8 hours, which is literally, no exaggeration, 1,000 times more potent than cocaine. It is the best drug in the world. So scientifically, you're having a peripheral vasospasm, and that's what happens at a scientific level. Now, physically and mentally, okay, when you get in there, you've got the boss voice and you've got the B voice. I'm trying to, cut the vernacular out, but you know what it is, right? You know the word. You could even say it, that's okay. But so you've got those two voices, and right when you get in, because
Are
you're
you talking about the bitch voice?
exactly, yes, sir, that word, that one, right? So right when you get in and your central nervous system freaks out, your ego, your monkey mind, the B voice jumps up loud, real loud, and it's like, oh my goodness, we need to get out of here. This is not safe. We're not good. And then you need to just relax and tell yourself, I am not my thoughts. I am the mind. I am the conscious observer behind my thoughts. And we're going to sit here and we're going to breathe and we're going to relax. We're fine. Everything's good. And so what you're actually doing, you trigger the fight or flight response and you tell your body, wait, stop, I'm the boss. I choose what we do. And then you sit there, and the profound impact on your ability to execute that has, if you do this, right now I'm doing it on average between 27 Fahrenheit and 35 Fahrenheit every day, which is freezing, mostly
We're
below
talking
freezing.
-2, negative.
Negative 3.5 C, which is insane.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
and I do that. I get up at 3 in the morning, so it's dark, it's cold, it's windy outside, and I jump in here. So when I get out, it's still I'm covered in freezing water, and the wind's shining on me, right? So it's hard from start to finish. But this is the first thing I do in the morning at 3 a.m. Within 5 minutes of waking up, I'm in the tub. And so everything else that I do for the rest of my day that's seemingly difficult is profoundly easier because the first
Mm,
thing I did was challenge myself physically and mentally.
I've never thought of it that way, right? Like that was kind of a cool way to put it, right? You have a lot of difficult tasks you think through the day, and the first thing you did is knocked out the hardest task of the day, which is getting in the ice bath.
Yeah, bro. It's
And
medicine.
that's an interesting way to put it, man. I've never heard it put that way, right? Despite the mental and the physical and all that, right?
Yeah.
It's the tasks that we have ahead of us in the day, you know? Man, I've already knocked out the hardest part of the day. Everything else is going to be a breeze, you know?
Yeah. And
Whatever I deal with the business, with, family, whatever issues, right?
it's a
That we all
crazy
deal with
mental
on a daily
edge.
basis.
It's a
Yeah.
crazy mental edge because like when you know that you're the type of person that does hard things, it's so easy to just not do that, right? Like you have to intentionally put yourself in a difficult situation. And when you know that you're the type of individual that does needlessly difficult things, you put yourself in these hard situations, it makes everything else that's inherently difficult easier by comparison. And that is unbelievably valuable in the hero's journey and in the process of personal development and entrepreneurship and actualizing who it is that you want to be. My audience has never met you, man. Talk. Let's. I want to know like what. When did you start entrepreneurship? What did that journey look like? Where are you now? What are some of the escapades you found yourself in across the however long that's been?
Yeah, so you know, I'll talk about my call to this adventure, this life that we call entrepreneurship, or I mean, with entrepreneurship comes personal development and things like that. I think the life I've lived is quite crazy. We all live crazy lives. I'm not here to compare my story to anybody. We all have our own personal story and why we decided to go down this route of personal development, entrepreneurship, things like that. And the number one thing for me was I was tired. I went to a private Christian school. I was adopted into a family of eight other people, eight other kids, right? And I was the black sheep of the family. I didn't get to play sports. I didn't get to, go hang out with friends. I was a troublemaker. Um, both my biological father, he passed away due to drugs. My mom was addicted to drugs for 40 years. Thank God she's saved now. She's off on an adventure of changing children, troubled kids' life at this thing called Teen Challenge. And she's over in Oklahoma, and she's, you know, basically sharing her story to show these kids that there's another way out, right? And so I lived a pretty hard life when it came to 0 to 5 years old. I got adopted at 7 years old, and then made it through the school, barely graduated. I didn't enjoy school at all. I hated it. I couldn't sit down and focus for that amount of time. And so,
Preaching to the
um,
choir, man.
yeah, yeah, totally. When I turned 18, I was at this point I was smoking cannabis pretty heavily. I was drinking a little bit. I wasn't too big into drinking, but I was smoking cannabis quite heavily, and that was a big thing that I had to deal with. And I got caught by my parents. And my dad, my adoptive father, was the chief of police in the hometown that I lived in. And I came home very high one night, and my parents caught me, and they said, "You want to be like them? Go and be like them." I took that as my way out, and I looked at them and said, "Cool, I'll pack my bags, get out of here." So I decided to move out, and this was February of 2013,
Okay.
the year I graduated,
Yeah.
and went and stayed with a friend of mine, and pretty much just partied, smoked weed, didn't go to school, living the crazy life of just do whatever the fuck I want.
Do you regret
Excuse my
that?
language. No, I don't regret any experiences that I've been through, right? Because they made me who I am today. That's super important. I think these are lessons, right? Now, if I wouldn't have learned from that lesson, then maybe I would have, regret. Everybody wishes, oh, I wish I would have done better in high school, or I wish I would have done different things. I have a child now, and so there's a part of me, a little like 2% of me, that's like, yeah, maybe I wish I would. The other part of me is like, no, dude, you wouldn't have the life you live today if you did all that, right?
Amen.
So I left I think I lasted maybe 3 weeks, and then I went home because I knew that I had to graduate high school. At least I wanted a high school diploma, right?
Okay.
So I left, excuse me,
Burps.
graduated high school. Yeah, no. As soon as, as soon as I graduated high school, I started dating this girl who was Native American, and as soon as I graduated, I moved in with her. We'll fast forward a little bit. Things didn't end well there. Come December of 2013, I moved out and moved over to North Dakota. Was over in the oil fields for maybe a month, and in North Dakota, and that was intense. That was like real big
Hard
boy,
labor.
hard work,
Yeah.
yeah, stuff like that. And I didn't really enjoy that either. So I was like, you know what, I'm out of here. So went back over to the coast over here in Washington. That's where I'm from, Washington State. I was born in California, and then decided that I wanted to get good with my parents and how can I help out? Like I want to change my life and do things. Ended up in Portland, Oregon, staying with my brother in an apartment. Well, that's when I got introduced to the city life. I grew up in a small town of 2,800 people. Didn't really experience anything crazy outside of smoking weed and drinking alcohol.
How old are
So
you?
that's when I'm 29. I'll be
No, no,
30
no,
in
no, no,
February.
no, no, no. Not, I know, not now, but at this point, you get the city
Oh,
life.
at this point, 18 years old, 19 years old.
Okay, okay.
And then I left, went and did that. And very shortly after I got to Portland, I was caught up in cocaine and things like that
It's a
and
slippery
got kicked
slope,
out.
brother. It's a
Oh,
slippery slope.
it's a very slippery slope. It didn't do anything for me. I ended up out on the streets, living on the streets of Portland for roughly about 2 years until I had my daughter. I met this girl. She kind of moved in with me. We had our ups and downs. We ended up getting pregnant. I had my beautiful daughter, Leilani, and that was kind of a big opening to my life.
That
Come
triggered
back.
character reform.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then I kind of moved back up to Washington after that and moved in with some good family friends of mine. And they were really big Christians. The family that I moved in with, she was my teacher in high school at this private Christian school. And so I kind of had a really good base of where I wanted to go with my life and things like that. And then I found out about Bitcoin. This is 2017.
Yeah.
I found out about Bitcoin. And I remember getting the phone call of, "Hey, have you heard about this thing called Bitcoin?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. What is this?" And my buddy called, or I called my dad. I said, "Hey, Dad, have you heard about Bitcoin? What is this? What's Bitcoin?" He goes,
What
"I've
is
heard
it?
of it." I said, "Is it a scam?" He said, "No, I don't think it's a scam, but I don't know much about it to be able to talk about it."
Yes.
And I said, "That's it. I'm gonna dive." And that's when I
One thing
dove
real
into
quick.
the.
one thing real quick. That's a wise man to say I've heard of it, but didn't start fugazing off some stuff and said I don't have enough tangible knowledge to share any rhetoric about it. That's a wise man right there. But
Yeah.
what is Bitcoin? I've never heard of it.
So Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. You're a liar. We've already that's the same year I met my friend Jake over here,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah,
where I
yeah.
met you at. So Bitcoin is a digital currency, right? It's decentralized. It has no borders, right? Borders don't define cryptocurrency or in this case Bitcoin, right? I There's Bitcoin and which is classified under cryptocurrency, and then you have, altcoins and things like that. Bitcoin is a currency that gives power back to the people, right?
Yeah.
I learned how to manage my own money at this point, right?
We're our
Because
own banks.
exactly, right? The banking system has totally taken away the power from the people in the sense of, oh, if you make a mistake or if, something like that, the banks will handle it. With Bitcoin, you have to learn how to truly keep your money. It's yours. Nobody can take it. Proper storage of it can cause different things to get hacked, right? And that's right. You're showing a digital, what we call ledger, right? And that's a hard wallet. So, yeah, Bitcoin is one of those things that really began my entrepreneurship journey into personal development, business, you know, what is this crazy life of investments and, you know, this was my out. And I knew immediately. I looked myself in the mirror, I had a conversation with myself, and I said, this is the thing you've been waiting for. Back in 2017, Bitcoin was fairly new, right? Bitcoin got started in 2008. 2013, we had a big bull run. And then 2017 come around, and that's when you started seeing, a lot of talk about it publicly, news channels and big investors and things like that started looking into Bitcoin. And so, yeah, that's where I really started to see a whole different world of this life.
Yes.
I always lived this life of, oh, I gotta work, I gotta pay my bills and, you know, collect my vacation time and then take vacation. I gotta do that until I'm 80 years old,
That
you
is
know?
called the Matrix. Is it not?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So Bitcoin definitely broke me out of the matrix,
Amen.
so yeah, that's a little bit about
Okay.
myself and how I got involved.
I want to take a step back to something you said. You ended up living with your former teacher that was heavily faith based Christian. You went to a Christian academy in your childhood. Then you found yourself falling off the beaten path that's prescribed in the Gospels, and then you had character reform change your life and became a meaningful specific instead of a wandering generality. Are you still a man of faith? And if so, how did that help you along that journey of discovering yourself?
Crazy. So great question, right? I actually had fallen off the path of Christianity up until March of this last year. Was supposed to get baptized into the church, and I remember getting baptized when I was 13, 14 years old, but I think it was more of kind of a pressure like show, like,
Yeah.
I didn't really understand the significance of what baptism was.
Yes.
And so I ended up getting cornered by a pastor, my teacher's husband, who has been a pastor for 40 plus years, 50 plus years, traveled all over the world doing mission work. He was a drunk at one point in his life and he ended up giving his life to Christ. But I had met this girl, and this is crazy because it's Satan works in ways that we can't even comprehend.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
met this girl, got completely blindsided, and I decided to move in with this woman.
Yeah.
I've left them, and when I told them I was leaving to move in with this girl, he kind of cornered me and it gave me this really bad taste. He said, "No, you're supposed to get baptized." And I grew up, being told what to do all my life, and I didn't really enjoy that. That wasn't the move for me. I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I want to do, and you're not going to tell me otherwise, right?
Yeah.
And so I ended up moving with this girl and getting away from the church. And Needless to say, I was abused by this woman. It wasn't a very good situation. We lasted maybe 3 months before I ended up moving out. But then I started my search through psychedelics, right? Through mushrooms, through LSD, through ketamine, through things like that, right?
Yeah.
And that went on for about 10 years. And uh, yeah, that went on for about ten years. Well, maybe not 10 years. I guess that's 2024. That happened in about 27. So maybe 5 years, right?
Okay.
And just recently in March, I had stopped smoking weed. I became a pretty crazy alcoholic, and we'll get into more of that, I'm sure, later on when we talk about the stories of how we met and things like that.
Hmm.
But alcohol control addiction has always controlled my life, right? Whether it be alcohol, nicotine, cannabis, psilocybin, things like that, right? Um,
But
I had
real quick, addiction can be good too if it's honed and dialed in the correct direction, right?
Sure,
Yeah, yeah.
sure. I think Satguru always talks about this, and I learned this from Satguru that, it's okay to potentially try mushrooms
Hmm.
to show what your mind is capable of. You don't need that to do that to get to that level, right? Your mind can do that on its own.
Hmm.
But when you start continuously doing it, to reach that point, that just kind of it just shows a weak mind, I think,
Yeah.
and that's my perspective I took from all of that, right? But so I had stopped drinking back in December of last year. I moved up to Washington, was staying in my buddy's garage. I told myself just gonna start over, go back to the bottom ground floor. I was sleeping in my buddy's garage, stopped drinking, moved over to my sister's after I'd got my drinking under control, and I decided to stop smoking weed.
Nice.
And then I smoked like 3 days after I'd stopped. I took a joint, smoked it, ended up with a 200 beats per minute heartbeat, pretty much died, right? I had to go to the hospital, went unconscious. And when I was unconscious, I spoke with God,
Beautiful.
and God had a very clear path for
And he
me.
said, "What are you doing, man? I've already
Yeah,
shown you
and
so
this
many
is but
times."
this is one of the first encounters, the first encounter that I had with God since I had parted from the church.
Yes.
Since I my relation, not the church, but my relationship with God since I had stopped doing that, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of brought me back together. And I got baptized 2 weeks, maybe a week after that had happened. And yeah, don't smoke weed now. And that was my biggest demon. I consume alcohol every now and then. Nothing crazy like I was consuming it before as an alcoholic, where I was drinking, a bottle a day. No excuses. It's a still a work in progress, right? But yeah, so that's how that worked.
Dude, that's amazing. So, still a man of faith. I tell people all the time I don't believe in God. I know God and I trust God, and that's why it's been integral into my development. Because belief insinuates a doubt, right? There's room for
Yeah, that you're very right there, right? So believing in something is simply not knowing,
yeah,
right? I don't believe that 2 plus 2 equals 4. I know that 2 plus 2 equals 4,
yeah.
right? And that's another thing Satguru says. And I've learned so much from Satguru. I went on this phase of listening to him every day. He makes
Was
some
that
very,
during
very
the
good
same time
valid
of the
points.
mushrooms?
Yes, yes, yes. He makes some very valid points. You know what I mean? You don't walk around saying, "I believe it's raining outside," when it's raining.
Yeah,
No, you know it's raining outside.
yeah.
So, I don't believe in God. I know God personally. I've had experiences with God. When I went to the private Christian school, I went and did mission trips. But the crazy thing is even through those mission trips in Peru, I'd seen things that were undoubtedly God's interacting
His
with
handiwork.
me.
Yeah,
Exactly. And so yeah, believing and doubting, or believing is simply not knowing, and understanding the difference between belief and knowing. That's we get confused with that, right? Like, I believe that this is no, you don't believe it, right? You know it,
yeah.
for a fact. And someone like you and myself, we can speak on that of the difference between believing and knowing.
Yeah, bro. I see God's handiwork in my life all the time, all the time. And like looking back on some of the I've been to hell on earth, man. Like in 2017 when I was just in a life of depravity, and it was around the same time I met you. I was in a full life of depravity and disaffected by all the seven deadly sins, super worldly successful, but I hated myself and I used substances of all fruits and merits, a lot of different substances as a form of escapism from my reality. And I got to this point where I was ready to control alt delete back then, and I realized I was riding my motorcycle violently dangerously, weaving in and out of traffic at upwards of 150 miles an hour, bawling my eyes out, couldn't see anything, and I just started praying to God, and I prayed, if please deliver me from this situation, change my life, and I'll put all the glory on you, and it hasn't been a certainly not been an immediate thing. That was 2017. It's the end of 2024 here. But
I think I think it was even later than 2017,
well,
right? So we met in 2017, and you were kind of at the peak of your business with
don't talk
flow
about it.
arts.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
no,
there you
no. That was in 2020 that the flow arts thing came in. We're talking 2017 was my initial touch point where
Oh,
I was in raving. I was in. Yeah, I've never talked about this publicly, and I'm not ready to yet. Statute of limitations
yeah,
and
yeah,
such. But
yeah.
you guys, the viewership can fill in the blanks. I was in a black hat entrepreneurship, and I figured out through a series of tests and trials in my life, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm just doing it in a form and fashion of facility that's not inherent of a tangible good lifestyle, and that's why I hated myself because I'd hated what I'd become. I was making a lot of money, but I didn't like who I was, and that's I moved away from that and started an Amazon FBA company, and I start because I realized I'm running this empire that is in this industry that's not just taboo but actually federally incriminable, and I realized
Let's go back to that real quick first.
let's go there.
I think we missed a big portion of you, right? You were just like a lot of kids today. You went to college,
Yes, sir.
right? So
R-
you were in college, and then that college period, like what happened from the college to the entrepreneurship, right? Because
Good point, man.
that's a lot of people talk about that
You're right.
or experience college, but don't really discuss that point, right?
I glazed over a big part there. 100%. You're absolutely right. Thank you for catching me on that. Right. So I graduated high school in 2015, and my parents absolutely demanded, you're going to college or you're going into the military. And they brought me down to the place to go get my tests. I got a 95 on my ASVAB, and they literally sat me down and they said, you can have any job you want, top secret security clearance, doesn't even matter, anything you want, it's yours. And I was like, I don't want to be in the military. My parents forced me to. I was still 17. I was like, I don't even want to be here, bro. Like, I'm too smart for this. And so my parents actually kicked me out. Moved in with my grandparents, and I was in high school. Little known fact that I've never talked publicly about. I was a nationally ranked ballroom dancer, competing nationally, and I actually ranked first at the silver competition level in 4 different dances, and I have those medals. But anyways, I never my senior year I didn't take my ACT or SAT. I couldn't care less. I knew I'm not going to college. College is dumb. Okay, I didn't know why I knew it was dumb. I just knew inherently in my intuition college sucks. I'm not going to do it. But then when I got into with my grandparents, I'm working 3 jobs, managing an Indian restaurant, working a call center. I'm a bus boy, and I've got my business on the side that's not a real business. That I'm just the jobs were not for money. We'll say that the jobs were so that I didn't raise any red flags in the IRS. And so I'm doing this, and my grandparents were like, you've got to go to college. And I was like, all right, whatever. So I go to take my entrance exams at a community college. I do a 4 hour exam in like an hour and 10 minutes, and I'm literally in dusted up, like a ripped up tank top, old like dirty sweatpants, flip flops. I come out, and the lady's like, she's looking at my scores, and she's like, you took this test? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you need to come with me immediately. Walked me to the other side of the campus to the honors department, and she's like, you just qualified for a full ride on like scholarship. You're in. And I was like, all right, whatever, sure. I'm in. And all this is to say, I'm academically acute. I'm dialed in. It's never challenging to me. I was 3 years ahead in mathematics my entire growing up and education period. And so I went to college on a full ride honor scholarship studying business management for 3.5 semesters, and then dropped out because of an experience with my creative writing teacher. Um, I had to pull an all nighter. I did Adderall because I had my jobs, and I did this massive essay that I was actually really proud of. And then I got a zero on the essay, which was going to, at the end of the semester, which was in like 3 weeks, was going to take away my honor scholarship. And then I went to the office hours to go talk to this professor, and the professor said, "Oh yeah, I didn't read the essay at all. I just gave you a zero because you didn't double space the header. You don't know how to follow instructions. That's what college is about. We teach you how to follow instructions to be a worker." I didn't even say anything to him. I was so baffled. My jaw was on the floor. I turned around, walked out, and I never went back to college. I was like, this is insane. I realized they were crafting me. They were forging me to be a cog in the matrix. So I dropped out. And by the way, no hate on anyone that has, a college degree and actually goes into a professional field that requires that and they love what they do. Not me, not the direction for my life.
Right.
And so after that, you're walking the beaten path, and then you decide this isn't it. And so what I did was the exact opposite, very similar to you. You gotta just jump off the deep end. And if you're not gonna go this way, you're gonna go the other way, and you're just gonna go all in. So I went
Yeah.
into drugs, raving, depravity, the whole thing really bad. I'm talking like 4 times a week or a month. Like I'm going to a rave every weekend. And I did that for a year and a half before I realized this is not it. And I'm way too intellectual to be doing this, and I can do something more. So I came clean to my parents. I told them everything I was doing, where I was at in life, and I made a promise to them, and I said, I'm gonna reform my entire life. I'm gonna change it all around. I'm gonna start selling products on Amazon.com. I'm gonna move back into your basement. I'm gonna cut off all my social circle that's bad influences to me, and I'm gonna start documenting this on social media about my journey to making my first $1 million. And they're like, well, we don't really know what you're talking about or believe in what you're talking about. You need to get a job, but you can move back in to sort of get your footing in your life. And then I went on. I turned $3,500 into $450,000 of sales in 2 years. At which point, now we're coming up to 2020, when I was found by a VC funded founder of a tech company that was a tech wearable company for gloving, which is
Oh,
also inside of also Flow Arts, right? And then I
yeah,
joined that
yeah.
company.
So that's crazy, right? So the 2017 period, right, is when you kind of figured out the college thing. This is not going to work, right?
Yes.
This I'm not doing this. Then you moved into your parents' basement.
Yep. By the way, still
Did,
smoking weed.
did the
I'm running an Amazon FBA, a legit white hat real business now, and I'm at this point where like I'm smoking 4 to 6 blunts a day every day, but like I'm at this weird, like, I by the way, I don't smoke weed now and I don't have any problems with weed. Just for me personally, it doesn't work for me. But at this point, right, I'm like using it and I'm getting into like a flow state where I'm actually really productive and I'm like getting a lot done just by while being ripped. So
yeah, yeah.
that's the 2017-18 vibes.
That's when you started doing the Amazon stuff, right?
Yes.
That's when one of our good friends, Spencer,
Yes. Connected
called
us.
me and said, "Hey, you got to meet this guy.
Yeah.
He's crazy. He's living in his parents' garage and he's doing over 10,000 a month in sales on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like you gotta meet this guy."
By
And
the way,
I remember this like it was yesterday, bro. You were in the backyard, and I remember because you still got the fence there.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
guys were sitting out. You got a little campfire out there or
Yep, yep,
a
yep,
fireplace.
yep.
He goes, "This is Jake. Meet Jake." And boom, that was it. Game over.
Yeah,
That
bro.
was the end of that was the end of that story.
You know what's crazy too? You know how I met Spencer? A week prior to that in Tempe, we bumped into each other at a vape shop, just getting some nicotine, and we just started talking to each other. And he tried to recruit me into a network marketing thing for forex trading. And I was like, bro, I
That
got
was called that was USI Tech.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, bro, I've got a business. Like I don't have time for this, but this is what I do. But let's network because you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. Let's do it. And that was like a week prior to that. You know,
Yeah,
strange
that's
world, man.
crazy.
Strange world.
Yeah, that's so wild, dude, how that happened.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
and now we're here today, right? So you did the Amazon thing, and it led you up to this company, and
Yes.
we can obviously you built that company to a valuation of seven figures,
Yes,
right?
multiple seven figures. I left the company when it was at a $20 million valuation.
Yeah, and then that brings us to 2022,
Yes.
and right there we're gonna stop. I gotta go pee, so
All
yeah,
right,
we're gonna
P.
have to.
We'll hit, you go pee, and I'll just shoot the stuff here. I'll talk to myself for a minute. Why are you
Don't
going in
leave
slow
me out of
motion?
it.
Don't leave me
I'm
out.
not.
We're having a moment of silence here together. You're making it awkward, bro. Just go.
This is all getting cut out anyways,
No,
dude.
it's not, bro. I'm not cutting anything. It's one continuous, bro.
Dude, I am going pee. You are
Go
cutting this
go
out.
pee, dog. It's my podcast. Go to the bathroom, dude. All right, guys. Look, we are doing. Tyler and I have been homies for years. Okay, years. I mean, we're talking connected way back when. It's the end of 2024. We're talking 2020, late 2018 or mid 2018, and we'll go into some of the things that we did together in 22. I'm sure we'll talk about that here in a minute. It's absolutely. I still can't even believe it. If I didn't have pictures to prove it, pictures and videos to prove what happened, I wouldn't even believe what we went about and did, because we went in very fortuitous, serendipitous things that happened. But Tyler has been one of my guys in my inner circle for years. We've just been following each other's journey. And you know what's interesting? It was it was until 2022 we had been connected digitally for, what is that, almost 5 years straight. And in that 5 years we hadn't met. It was till 2022 that we actually physically, tangibly met in real life. Reason why I share that is you'll experience in the hero's journey of entrepreneurship, personal development, and growth, right? Something that you'll notice is the people that support you actually want, like, really believe in you. Like, not just say they believe in you, but really believe in you. They're the people that you meet along the process, not the people that were with you from the beginning, right? Those, it's so weird, right? Your closest friends and family when you start aren't the ones that are supporting you. The ones that end up supporting you are the ones that you meet along the journey, because they see you for what you are now, and the direction of where you're headed, versus those closest friends and family that knew you since you were a baby have a certain image of you in their mind. And as you begin to break and shape and forge a new mold, they're like, hey, yo, you're affecting my reality by what you're doing. You need to relax and get back in your cube. Okay. Stop doing that. And that's really interesting, right? Because before we met, the 5 years where we were digitally connected and hadn't met in person, he was one of my biggest supporters and an advocate, and always there for me. Like, when I was down bad mentally, he'd call me out of the blue and he'd be like, bro, like, let's figure this out, bro. You're too good to be in this low vibrational state. And, like, I wasn't getting that kind of love from my family, bro. And so that's a key for personal development. The people that are going to believe in you before the world believes in you are going to be the people you meet along your journey, not your closest friends and family from early days when you were a kid. Weird. How was your pee?
Yeah, totally.
How was your pee, bro?
It is good, dude.
Should
It's
I
good.
go pee and let you go on a little tangent?
You gotta go pee.
No, no, bro. I said we're gonna get into, not, we don't have to immediately right this second, but I said we're gonna talk about, some of the things that we did together in 22 when we met. That if I didn't have video and physical proof, like photo evidence, I wouldn't even believe it to this day. It's gonna, you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah, that was beautiful. I met Jake, right, 2017, and I just watched what he had done, right? I seen him living in the office of this company that he was working with. I seen him grind his life away, and I know this is about,
you got your
both of us.
timeline shifted, brother. 2018 is when I was in my parents' house, and that 2 year escapade was, I had my office, but it was my company, my
20,
independent company.
20,
20 to 22 was the,
21.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so 21, right? So I met you in 2017.
Yes,
And yeah, so then you went on and moved over to California. You
yes.
were living in this
Living
but
in the garage, baby.
yeah,
Why
dude.
do we live in garages, bro? Steve Jobs is coming out of a garage. We're in garages, bro. Dude, don't hate on the
There's
garage.
something about it. I think it's a like a humbling experience, right? Like it's a really humbling experience to be able to go and do something like that, right?
Yeah.
Um, so you watching Jake, watching you just go out and grind every single day. At that point, you got into sun gazing very heavily, meditating very heavily. Things were going great.
You know
And
why,
then I
bro?
remember it.
You know why? I need to touch on this. Why I got so heavy into spiritual practice and a relationship with God and praying all the time was because, like,
I don't think your relationship with God was even heavy at that point.
it was more the spiritual thing, but I was praying every day. I just wasn't necessary. I was more referring to it as the universe.
Oh, okay.
It's the
Yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
thing, but just just changing the name, Yahweh or the universe or collective conscious. But the reason why I got so deep into the faith, the faith of something more, was because I knew inherently I was doing the work. I knew what I was doing on a daily basis was doing the work to be intentional and to move forward. But for years and years and years, for the whole escapade of the time, I wasn't seeing any like tangible merit, or I wasn't seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. I wasn't seeing net rewards from my work. So I was like just having to trust. And I was like, I know that I don't feel any net benefit coming from this, but I have so much faith that if I keep doing this and keep doing intentional things, actions every day that I know are moving the needle forward, something's going to give and I'm going to have a parabolic breakthrough. I know it will happen. And that's why it sort of strayed me heavily into faith of the unseen.
Yeah. Yeah,
Keep going.
totally.
Keep going.
I I want to go back, and we're gonna have to edit this podcast a little bit,
We're
move
not
things
editing
around.
anything, bro. We're
We
not.
have to.
No, we're not. We're raw over here, bro. We don't need to edit nothing, bro. I don't have a Jamie, bro. I don't have a Jamie.
I don't want it. I have somebody that can edit it for us, right? Elios can do it. I pay him very well, so we can take care of that, right?
I like the
But I
aspects
want
of it being raw, bro.
to. Me too. Me too. I want to go back, right? We heard a little bit about how you got to 2022. People seen me. They heard about me being homeless and all that. Got get into Bitcoin. I got into. I want to go a little bit more further into that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Give a little bit of more context of where I was at, because I'll tell you right now, there was no way in hell, bro, that I was in any place to be helping you in 2022 mentally. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't just go from this guy who just moved off the streets to having a child and moving in with this girl, dealing with the abusive relationship, and then boom, I'm helping people like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
there was a process in between there, and I want to go into that process, right? The 2017, I met a good friend, Spencer. He's a great friend of ours. Obviously you're going to have him on the podcast.
I
I'm
am.
sure of it.
Yes.
Spencer, and maybe we even do a roundtable together with all three of us, because we kind of
I was
grew up
I
in
was
this.
just thinking that, bro. All right, go, go, go.
We grew up in this space together. We watched each other at the very bottom go into this thing, which we're going to talk about in 2022, right? Like what happened in that time frame. But I got into Bitcoin, and I got into Bitcoin. I joined this network marketing company.
Mhm.
And the thing about network marketing, everybody throws these red flags like
It's a
shit.
Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Ah!
And I'm not gonna disagree with that, right? Like after my experience now, especially in this time, crypto was a big thing. Network marketing and crypto kind of conjoined, and it was just a fucking nightmare. Excuse my language. Like it was a nightmare, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
double no
I
regulation, bro. Now we got now we got a big
yeah,
problem.
yeah, it's all bad, and but what this showed me, what this taught me was I had the ability to make sales.
Hmm.
I'm a talker, right? I love talking, I love networking, I love building, right? And when we go into the personal development, we'll discuss, or not, is it it's not personal development. When we talk
You're trailing.
yeah, I know,
I know
bad.
you're reading the notes, bro. We got a free flow, bro. I don't even know what we've talked about so far, but I know we've got so many beautiful topics going on. Look,
Yeah, so the networking, right? So like you know, I that really showed my, that was my thing, right? I really school wasn't it, but when I traveled to Peru and did the mission work, that was something that really kicked into my head.
Yes.
America is this beautiful country, but America isn't the world, and there's so much more outside of this. And so I found my love for traveling, and I found my love for talking to people, and also my love for sharing the gospel, right?
Yes, sir.
Um,
You're
but
extroverted,
when
man.
I yeah, 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 totally,
You got the
100%,
gift of
right?
gab.
Yeah, dude. Banter, gab, all whatever you want to call it, dude. I'm good. I love it, right? It's my favorite thing to do. And so network marketing was my thing,
Yeah.
like I immediately got attached to this thing. And not only that, I had a product that I truly, truly believed in down deep, deep down, bro. Like I couldn't just do anything. I remember telling myself when I was younger, I can't wait for the next big thing, right? When I was younger, I grew up in the 90s, right? I was born in 95, 90s, 95 to, 2005 was the massive boom that we call now the internet,
Yes. But it
right?
was just a
And
fad, though. It's just gonna
computer
go away, bro. Come 2000, it's gone. Obviously.
computers, that was the big move.
Yeah.
Like if you got into it then, you're very wealthy.
Yes. The
And
dot
so that
com
was my
boom.
yeah, that's right, the dot com boom, right? So I immediately knew when I dug into Bitcoin, I spent 7 months every single day studying Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Every single day. And I mean in depth. Not only did I study Bitcoin, I studied personal development, I studied how to talk to people. I was hitting up every single person in my contact to teach them and tell them, "Hey, there's this thing, this big thing, and it's going to be a world currency.
Yeah.
Where people are going to adopt this thing as a world currency. It's the newest thing of technology, which we call decentralization."
Well, I need to interject because something that like it's just okay, you're 90 95. I'm 97. People in our generation, we got to grow up where early childhood we were outside playing with the homies, right? No screen time. We're
Yeah,
like doing it. We're the last ones that are in this. Like, and then because as we came up, we got to the iPod touches, and then we start getting the iPhones. I am so flabbergasted that still in 2024 there are people that are our age that think this whole making money on the internet money thing, it's all a scam. I how? What are you not seeing? Like it can't be all a scam. Like
I, I think there's this number one thing that I learned, and it's lack of knowledge causes fear,
yes.
right? If you don't know about something, you automatically throw up this instinct, which is a good instinct of fear. It's an instinct we've had for as long as humans have been around,
Yes.
right? You don't know what it is, you're scared about it.
Yes.
And
Fear.
that's what this is, right? This is a simply the lack of understanding and the lack of knowledge is fear. What makes it different between about me and you is when we see something we don't understand,
We're like, I
we
want to
learn
learn
about
about
it.
this 100%.
Yeah, what is this thing
Fear
that
is
that
false evidence appearing real or face everything and run. Yeah, face everything and run. It's an acronym. So,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yes. And
totally.
and by the way, before you keep going, another thing about the four stages of learning, unconscious incompetence is the first stage of learning, which means you do not know what you do not know. And then conscious incompetence is the second stage of learning, which means you now are aware of information that you're not privy to it. So now you can start learning new information. Most people get locked into stage 1 and like, I just don't know about it, so it's got to be a scam. And then
Yeah.
you're not doing yourself any
Yeah,
favors.
totally. Right. I think so. That takes us back to the lack of understanding, lack of knowledge causes fear, which immediately people throw their red flags up, right?
Yes.
And so I went into this deep dive with Andreas Antonopoulos as like my main teacher. Andreas Antonopoulos was around during the dot-com boom, and he knew immediately that this was going to be life-changing computers. And now he's this guy who immediately saw the cryptocurrency, saw Bitcoin, and he goes, "Oh, this is the next life-changing thing." Jake's always got his cat trying to distract
Dude,
us.
she's pulling up to the desk, bro. She wants to be in the pod.
Oh shoot!
Or what?
Yeah, I think we're back.
We just had a
There
little
we go. Are we?
the cat messed up my my audio settings. Classic move.
You better get that pussy under control.
Classic move, bro. I need to get her own little computer back there, bro.
um. So I got it and I started making sales, right? And the first big taste of this thing of like, oh, how can I didn't even know making money outside of a job was possible.
Yes.
Like that's
Dude,
how
dude,
close-minded and how like
your
we
first
are.
taste, bro, your first taste of internet money changes your life. Because you're not out of the
Oh,
matrix, but you get to see the matrix and you're like, bro, I just made $50 in 30 minutes by clicking a few buttons. Trading is what I'm going on about. And I work 4 hours at my job for this type of money, bro. Like that doesn't
yeah.
even make sense. The first time it changes your mind on reality when you make internet money for the first time.
I remember telling people about Bitcoin. The lady I was staying with, I remember her telling her about this. And no disrespect to her, I love them very much from the bottom of my heart, but they laughed at me.
100%.
I'm gonna
You're gonna get scammed and lose all your
I'm
money. It's like,
yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna be very wealthy off of this stuff. This is gonna change my life forever.
Yeah.
And they laughed at me. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And shout out to her husband because her husband believed me and he ended up buying Bitcoin. And obviously now we're sitting at 90,000. This was back when Bitcoin was $3,000. Like
Woo!
we're doing
Bitcoin's a
great things, right?
million.
That's a whole different topic that we can
Yeah,
discuss,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I started making this money through this network marketing company with Spencer.
Yes.
And I mean Spencer was killing it. I'll let him talk about that part, right? That he was killing it and that motivated me. Me and Spencer, I met Spencer as the guy who was doing the graphics and helping with the marketing and things like that for this community. And me and him, next thing you know, I catch him and I mean, we were on calls every day, all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
We were talking and I thought he was this like I didn't think I'd be able to touch Spencer. You know what I mean? Because that's how successful he was at this point.
Yeah.
He was doing very, very well. And I'd come in and I started making this money. And that's when I met that girl. And I moved
Mhm.
in with that
And
girl.
what
And I
happened?
was making $700 a week, $800 a week with
Passively.
no job.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was not working. And she did not like that. She didn't like it. She was like, what and it just caused this big problem, and so that's when I decided to move out, and that's when this company shut down.
Yes.
This company shut down completely. I got into a new company where I was one of the top 10 salesmen in the whole company. I was probably doing in volume $500,000 to $1 million in volume in the first 7 months.
Yes.
I brought in probably 40 people into the company, 50 people into the company, and we were crushing it. And that's when I started to travel for cryptocurrencies. That's when I was making, I mean, I was probably $5,000, $6,000 a month.
Now we're
And I
looking at
was,
22. We're coming up on 22.
yes, yes, this was 2019 area,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2019, 2020. And I went to San Francisco
Mhm.
and I went to this event and I met all these crazy people that we had been friends on the internet for so long and going on a year and a half, 2 years, and I was like, this is crazy. Like I'm really doing it
They're
right now.
real people.
Like I'm this is crazy.
Yeah.
Like this Bitcoin thing is changing lives. And that company went out.
Yes.
And that's when I decided at this point, I had studied Bitcoin so much that I decided to open my own consulting like
Yes.
thing where I was, hey, you want to learn about Bitcoin? Here's what I've done. Here's my transparency. Here's what I can do for you. And let's go. I'll charge you $150.
I had the same
I ended
thing.
up I
You
ended up
build
getting
too
a
many
hundred.
people's businesses. You build enough other people's businesses, and
Yeah,
then you're like, why don't I just build my own?
yeah. I spent endless hours, endless days, endless months trying to build these businesses, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm at that point to where I'm looked at like somebody who really knows what they're doing,
Yeah.
and I told myself, I looked myself in the mirror, I said, you are early enough in this space to where if you really study this and you really keep a head on everything, people are going to come to you. Every conversation that I had to people about Bitcoin was, hey, this may not mean nothing right now, but when you hear about it, you know who to call.
You'll circle back. Yeah.
When Bitcoin hit $20,000, Jake, I had my phone
Ringing.
ringing
Yeah.
off the hook. It would not stop. I mean, I probably had 100 and something clients in the first month of me doing this. You know what I mean? And that's when I really started saying, okay, this is something I can do. I don't have to work. I can focus on this. And yeah, that kind of brings us to um
22.
2022, right?
Yep.
There's the metaverse. Yeah, that was the metaverse.
I was building my
Yeah.
metaverse. Yep. You
You
know,
were so you were a big guy in the metaverse. You were talking a lot about NFTs and things.
yep.
I'm a kind of a I'm a big I'm not re- I'm a Bitcoin maxi,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
I love Bitcoin. I love the technology of Bitcoin. It's what introduced this world to what we now call the cryptocurrency space,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm kind of a big Bitcoin guy. I'm stubborn. I don't really didn't really want to learn about all this other shit.
Deep
I
and
didn't
layer
enjoy.
twos, DeFi,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
DeSo.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, it's noise,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
All you could hear about is the ICO
The
phase,
ICO
right?
boom.
Like,
Yeah.
like there was so many distractions that could have. That, I mean, distractions. I call them distractions because they were distracting towards me.
I call them
My
wow
goal,
opportunities.
my goal and my specialty at the time was onboarding, right?
Yes.
Onboarding people into cryptocurrencies or to Bitcoin, and then hey, I have clients now that are more knowledgeable than I am.
Yep.
I'm not here to be the king. I'm not here to be the best. I'm not here to do any of that. My job is to light that fire under people and get them to go and study this thing more.
Yep.
Right? I'm not the all-knowing God when it comes to this stuff. But if I can light that fire like Spencer, like you, like these like we've lit under each other,
Hmm.
then I'm going to change lives. My goal is to change lives in
Yep.
this industry, give people financial freedom. And with network marketing, that was one of the big goals, right? We all wanted to teach people and personal freedom. And that's when you get into mentorship, finding a good community, personal development, accountability, which we can go into later with the conscious creator kingdom, right?
Yes. Exactly what you're talking about is what I'm building right now for people.
Yeah. So we could discuss that towards the end of the pod, but that's all super important, and that's where this kind of really came in for me, this realization of, okay, the manifestation is real.
100%.
Law of attraction is a real thing.
Universal laws, law of vibration, law of polarity, yeah, all super real. One thing that I got that my mind, my consciousness was pinging when you said that was a rising tide raises all ships, right? So like when you're in an industry that's CAGR is increase, it's more than the .com boom. The CAGR growth of the crypto ecosystem as a whole is exceedingly more than the .com boom, right? And so a rising tide raises all ships, right? We're all I don't want to be the top of the pyramid of a company. I want to, like you said, I want to affect change and help people grow and evolve. And that should be the goal. And to call that back to faith, right? In the Gospels, we're called to render useful service to our fellow man, give love to others, and guide the sheep in the right direction, right? And so, like, it's never all the worldly accolades and the things I've done and the things I've accomplished, none of it's called back to me. It's all God doing it because God is using me and you as vessels to help other people expand their consciousness, expand their livelihood, and hopefully come back to Christ and faith. And so like we all find an intrinsic fulfillment and motivation and value in helping others win and helping others come to know more of themselves. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things is like the whole network marketing sort of fast tracks it. That's why it's so tangible and it's so attractive to people. It's because once you're going down the personal development journey or the hero's journey, the entrepreneurial venture where you're learning about yourself and you're inherently then becoming financially well off through a business, and you're hopefully doing that on social media as well, you build a brand. And after you get to a certain point, right, cumulatively together between the both of us, we have well over 1 million followers. And once you get to a certain point, people start, you have this social credibility. People start looking to you for guidance because they're like, okay, maybe I don't understand what he's doing. Maybe I still have that fear barrier, but clearly this guy knows a little something about what he's doing. So maybe I should listen to him. And that's when that feedback loop comes back. And those people that when Bitcoin hit 20K, they start ringing you up, yo, something's going on. It's because now those are walk by sight and not walk by faith type of people, right? They need to see it to believe it, not believe it to see it. It's using the law of attraction backwards. And so we're those visionaries where we're like, I don't really need to see it. I know where I'm going, and the path, the steps will present themselves to me as I keep walking. I don't really need to know. I know ultimately where the macro vision goes, but these next couple of steps, I really don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just still going to keep doing it. And then they just keep presenting themselves to you. And then opportunities come. And then your homie calls you and says, you need to be at the airport in 37 minutes for a flight because you're coming to Vegas. Yeah. Let's talk about
So
it.
that brings us into the best segment of this, right?
They're going to think we're lying.
2022,
All
the,
of
the beginning of the beginning of 2022, I want to give you guys a little bit of I want to talk Jake up here for a minute, right? I've known Jake for a long time. I've seen him go through the highs and lows, and
the
we're doing this
lows.
because we're giving perspective of you think this journey is going to be easy.
It's not
You got
rainbows and
stung.
sunshine, bro.
Yeah,
It sucks 98% of the time, bro.
totally, totally. And so I seen Jake doing very well and all this, and he was, from my eyes, extremely successful mentally, emotionally. Seemed like he was on track. And then something went wrong in the company, and Jake, you know, called Jake one day. This was January of 2022, the
Yes.
beginning, right?
Yes, it was.
And Jake was down. I mean, he was pretty much in tears when we were
I
talking,
was
and he
bawling my
was
eyes out, bro.
very, very upset at what was going on in his life and what was happening currently with the business and things like that. And I just kept telling him, Jake, like, you're better than this. You have so much going for you. You're motivated. Like, you have, like, this right here is simply a bump in the road of the end goal of where we're going. And I did my best because Jake's my brother, right? Like, I really love Jake, and I need to not let something bad happen to Jake. Like,
Especially
keep him
by
on at
Jake.
all. Yeah, yeah. I need to keep him on at all costs. Like, hey, stay focused. I've been through it a couple of times in my experience. Now, at this point, with 3 companies that I joined, pretty much crashing out, and so I'm very well aware of what the emotion that Jake was feeling. And go ahead, Jake. Like, yeah, after that point, when you were just, what were you feeling come February? You moved back to Arizona, right?
It was July that I moved back. So
Oh shit!
January,
My time was off.
no, no, no. No. You're right. You're right on. You're right on. Early January. No, but it was July when I came back because for those 5.5 months, despite God,
Oh, that's
despite God like showing me like, bro, idiot, like I've shown you so many times. Stop trying to hold on to something that's no longer serving you. I've told you to get out of there already so many times, and you're just not listening because you're a stubborn idiot. It took me 5.5 months to figure it out, but like what was going on, right? Like let me set the setting into context, right? So I was building a Web3, so that my Flow Arts company merged into blockchain and Web3 and building in the metaverse, and we actually it doesn't even sound real. And again, with what we're going to talk about, what we did in 22, like what I was doing in late 2021, if I didn't have video evidence and physical pictures and proof, I wouldn't even believe it to this day. But none of this is cap. This is all legit. But I was literally invited to a private mastermind because I was plugged into a gala, which is gala is the ecosystem, and I actually got to I got to meet several A-list DJs, not in like a fan setting where I like have a VIP ticket to their concert and I get to take a picture with them. No, I went to a private mastermind with 300 people in it tops, and I was the smallest fish in this pond. There were billionaires there, and there was also several A-list celebrities, and I got to network with all of them. Just I'm drinking with them, partying with them. I could name drop a couple, but I don't really need to, right? Like it's kind of irrelevant, but like people you would know. And I actually ended up helping one of them. Me and one of my fellow co-founders helped them launch their first blockchain project, which did $60 million in revenue in the first 30 days of minting. It was an NFT drop, and we got paid a flat rate fee of 10 grand for that. We got absolutely rinsed. See, don't meet your heroes, bro. They're probably not as sick as you think they are. But anyways, look. So I'm doing crazy stuff on the world stage. I'm the man behind the curtain. People aren't necessarily seeing me, but I'm pulling strings with A-list celebrities. And at the same time as we're having these parabolic leaps forward, and I'm like, dude, this is what I've been working for all these years, critical mass. At the same time, I am being absolutely like I don't want to be blasphemous, and my parents hate when I say this because they think it's blasphemy. It's not, and I would never. I'm not calling myself Jesus Christ, but the hero's journey and the journey of personal development and self-development very heavily reflects Jesus Christ's life and his story. But meanwhile, while I'm having these parabolic cataclysmic breakthroughs, and previously before I joined this tech company and lived in the garage, sold all my possessions, I was making $40,000 a month at my business that I owned outright, and I sacrificed everything. I sold my cars to move into the basement or move into the garage of this company and build and not get a paycheck because I believed in the vision of the company so heavily. I wasn't getting paid, and I wanted to follow my artistic passions and then build it to the point where other people that also have the same artistic passion could build a full-time income off of just their love of the art and flow arts. And so I believed so heavily. I was the number one advocate, not just as an entrepreneur, but I was a practitioner, an artist first, an entrepreneur second. And while we're having all these crazy parabolic breakthroughs, and I'm like, dude, it's critical mass. Like I'm finally gonna make it. At the same time, I am public enemy number one in the flow art sector. I'm the most hated guy in the entire flow art sector. There's a guy. Listen to how insane this is. Just like Jesus Christ and Barabbas. Okay,
Slow down, slow down. You're going
I'm
500
going
miles an
fast.
hour,
I'm
bro.
going fast. Let me slow
Yeah,
down. I'm passionate
slow
about
down.
this, bro. All right.
Hey, I can feel the passion, but we got a little slow people watching this.
All
You
right.
can't fucking
All right. I'll relax. I'll relax. All right. Listen, just like Jesus Christ and
remember.
Barabbas.
Hey, we're talking, bro.
I know. I know. Relax. I'm not mad. I'm energetic because this is an insane story, dude. It's insane. Look, if you're not familiar, maybe you're not studied up on scriptures, but Jesus Christ and Barabbas. Barabbas was a murderer, and they're both up there. And the Roman guard said, "Look, you guys, you public eye perception, you can have Jesus Christ, this guy that he's your Messiah, he's the King
Yeah,
of the Jews, or you can have Barabbas, this murderer. You can just have one. One of
right,
them's not gonna die. The other one's gonna die." And
right.
in public eye perception, everybody's like, yeah, we'll just have Barabbas. You can kill Jesus. So I wasn't murdered. I wasn't crucified. But look, context in the flow arts sector, there's this guy named Keith, okay? Or sorry, Kenneth. Kenneth. And this guy was one convicted serial rapist, okay? That's this guy. And not only that, he was permanently banned from the online forum of flow arts because he would make fake Facebook accounts and he would add girls in the flow arts sector and send them impromptu, uh, uh, you know, hot dog pictures. Okay, this guy, I was being compared publicly and told that I'm this Jakeb Livengood is worse than this guy. And you know what I was doing, man, in the flow arts sector? I was telling people, hey, I'm a 23-year-old guy. I've done almost $1 million of sales in my life. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I run this company. I'm a founder, a C-suite founder that's VC funded. I can change your life through just information, just a couple of conversations with me. And I think you should start being intentional about your life. Stop doing drugs needlessly, countlessly all the time. Journal and plan, get intentional. And with a couple of years, 2 years of dedicated focus towards something like building a personal brand, which by the way, I am going to get you connected into calls with a guy mentored directly by Bob Proctor to help you fix your mindset and build a personal brand for free out of my own pocket that I'm going to pay for. In 2 years, I can change your fundamental life and you will be living your dreams, retired from your job. And because I was saying all that stuff, I was publicly crucified as far as my personal character. This guy is a piece of garbage. He thinks he's holier than thou. I hate this guy. He thinks he's better than me. Who do you think you are to tell me how to live my life? And I'm just like, at the same time, I'm like, bro, I was being told I was a money monger capitalist that was just out for money, just trying to gouge the community for money. And I'm like, guys, I do this art. I love this art. I love that. I did this art before I was an entrepreneur, and the opportunity to be an artist and an entrepreneur at the same time and literally give up everything, file chapter 7 bankruptcy, lose everything from $40,000 a month to nothing, to live in a garage, to serve this community, serve you wholeheartedly every single day. I get up and all I do is serve the community so that you can make a full-time income with your passion, and you hate me. That is so weird, bro. So that's the
Yeah, that
set
is
setting and
that is
context.
that is a little weird.
That's the set
It's a
setting and
little weird.
context of where we're at. So January, I literally look.
So let's go. Let's. That's a different portion. Here we go into 2022 January. You're having a bad time. You've
Yes, that's what I was
decided that
about to say.
you're going to remove yourself from this completely.
I was done. I was done. I was ready to control alt delete myself. I was so
And I
down
can
bad.
I can I can vouch because I remember very clearly
You were on the
the
call.
hate, the everything that was happening during that time. Right. I remember being in the Discord call. I mean, it was very intense.
Insane.
You know, and my reminder, Jake is bro. You're good at what you do.
Yeah, I had success. Like,
Like
bro.
you're good at what you do, bro. And I didn't have to. I didn't have to like. I've seen it. I'd already seen it, bro. I've already seen it. What like the things that you had accomplished. I've already seen that very well. And my number one thing to you was, Jake, go put this into something else,
Yeah.
right? This isn't
Yes.
the end. Bro, stop. Like, let's go and build something. Let's
Yes.
go change this energy, put it into something else. Jake was, dude, you were down and out, bro. You were not having it.
No.
You were not having it at
I
all.
refuse to give up.
Nothing.
I refuse because it's the sunken cost fallacy. It's a fallacy. And the sunken cost fallacy is I've already sacrificed so much and I've put in so much into this thing. I can't walk away now. I have to see it through. Even if it's cataclysmic failure, it's called the sunken cost fallacy. And I was deep in it, bro. I was not giving up.
So let's go to the day, right? I had I was going down to the Vegas Expo Center.
Mm-hmm.
We had put on an event.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I was speaking to people of the likes of Rick Ross, um, uh, FaZe Clan,
Mm-hmm.
you know, big guys, right? FaZe Clan, I'm sure our viewers know FaZe
Did
Clan.
you
I'm
just
sure.
call Rick Ross fat, bro? Come on, bro.
No, I was speaking heavily with artists all over.
That were big.
I was speaking heavily. Yeah, they all wanted a part of this thing called the metaverse, right? What is this thing called the metaverse, right? Like the metaverse is an amazing thing. It's beautiful. There's a lot of things that we can do in the metaverse, right? It's the new world of gaming,
Yes.
right? I flew to Vegas. I was sitting there. Spencer, our boy, was already in Vegas for work.
Yep.
So I think, no, when I was in Oregon, I had already met Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
So I had brought Spencer to Oregon. We had a nice little get together. My cousin was into TCG, and he kept begging me, "Hey, you gotta get into this. Yeah, you gotta get involved in this." So I got involved, brought all my connections in, Rick Ross, things of people of the likes, and I get down there and I go, Spencer, we gotta get Jake here. Like, we gotta get Jake here, dude. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Called up Jake and said, Jake, come on in, bro. What are you doing? Nothing.
I was like, I'm sitting at home in front of my computer working, bro. What else do I do? I just work.
Said, "Jake,
You're like, how soon can you be at
hop
the
on a
airport?
plane,
Yeah.
dude. How soon can you be at the airport?
And I was like,
I
10 minutes.
gotta have you come to Vegas, dude."
And I was like, all right, there's a
Jake's
flight
like,
to
"What?
Vegas in 40 minutes.
All right, let's go." So we booked the flight for Jake to go to Vegas. Jake pulls up, and that was kind of the beginning of a fucking like
the
2-3 week
the
adventure.
craziest this right here, this again, as I prefaced the working with the A-list celebrities in the last like you can believe that this is not real and we're just gassing this up and making this up. This whole story is fictitious. You can believe that. But if you scrolled back far enough on our social medias, that we got the receipts, bro. This is all
We'll
real. This
we'll
really happened.
we'll put we'll put the videos up right here.
No, we don't have to put I'm not doing no editing, dog.
I got it. I got it. I'm gonna take this edit. I'm gonna take this from you, and I'm gonna edit it.
All right, bro. Whatever. So,
So we had this video right here, up, right here, boom, boom, couple different things that like, bro, changed our lives forever. At this point, that was probably the biggest thing we had done.
what happened?
You came to Vegas,
Yeah.
bro. I don't even think you were involved in TC like that, and you ended up working the event with
I
me.
yeah, knew nothing about the whole project. Is a blockchain project. Knew nothing. Talked to a couple of Tyler introed me to a couple of the founders, and they're like, "Well, dude, like, let's get you a shirt. And let's get you on the floor, helping out with order flow, deal flow of people coming in." I was like, "All right, let's do it. Let's run the play." So we had a what was it, 2 or 3 day conference? 3 days, right?
3 day, three
three
day.
three day conference. It was all gaming, metaverse, brand building, and Web3. We ended up hanging out with the Phase Boys there. We went out clubbing with the Phase Boys. We got a table. Diego, Lil Xan ends up getting a table right next to us. We're popping bottles, like crazy stuff, bro. Uh, Day 3 comes, right, and a couple of guys we met at the conference go, "Yo, what's up? What are you guys doing?" And we're like, "Well, we're just going back to wherever we're going, right?" I'm like, "Well, we're going to a conference, and it's in West Palm Beach, Florida, right over by
Shout out,
Miami."
shout
Now,
out, SoundSafe AI.
yep, yep. And they're like, "Look, you should pull up with us." And we're like, "All right, why not, dude? We're already out here. Let's extend the trip
I
and do
look, I,
something else."
I looked over at Jake and said, "Hey, Jake,
You got
we're
anything
going
going on
to,
in the next couple of
yeah,
days?
let's go to West Palm Beach, dude.
and
We got to go to West Palm Beach."
we're like, whatever, dude. None of this is. By the way, I packed. I got to the airport 15 minutes after I got this phone call. I got a backpack with like 3 pairs of clothes. That's it. I was gonna be in Vegas 3 days, and then I'm coming home. That's all I know. And I'm like, well, whatever. I can do laundry. Let's go to West Palm Beach. Sure, dude. Why not? Hop on a
Yeah,
plane, go to West Palm Beach. Another conference. This one was a 2 dayer, not a 3 dayer.
right.
And the SoundSafe boys get us connected to the event coordinator, the guy that actually threw this event. 10 minutes into a conversation with Tyler and I, he's like, "Yo, you guys are plugged in. You guys know your stuff." We're like, "I mean, we know some stuff, whatever." We get backstage VIPs, and we get like spots where we're actually in the media, and we're actually doing interviews and stuff. So now we're networking with everybody over here. Another whole different pool of large digital creatives. And we go out clubbing here, and we're meeting. We got to hang out and network with Bill. We don't need to name drop everybody, but lots of more big fish. This is the second event.
People of the likes of producer of Kendrick Lamar,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And we're the
Those
small
types of,
fish. We're the smallest fish in this pond
yeah.
that we're running around with. But these guys loved us because we're not like coming up to them and meeting them on like a fangirl vibe. We're like, "Yo, like we're with you, the boys, bro. What's good?" And like just meeting them person to person, and they just loved our energy. We were just vibing out. We're just living in the
You
moment.
know, that I'm going to go back a little bit. That takes me to the point of, Overflow. We met this
Yep.
guy. His name is Overflow. He now is
Patrick.
very, very close with Happy Punch.
Yep.
Um, this guy is one of the fastest up and coming, influencers probably in the space, I'd say, right?
Two red
And
stripe BJJ, black belt BJJ. Man's lethal, bro. Don't
he
F with
fought
him.
he fought under the first two Logan Paul fights,
Yep.
boxing fights. He's a legend, man. And if it weren't for him and his hospitality, he's man, one of the coolest people.
Bro,
One of the coolest people.
real quick, I need to touch on this too. I can't believe we glossed over this. This was back in the Vegas conference, right? And like I'm still this is after the falling out of my company, so I'm like I moved back in my parent one of my parents' properties. I'm starting back over from scratch. I've built some crazy stuff and I have a big personal brand now, but like dealing with a lot of mental turmoil and self-image problems, like I don't personally like vibrationally feel within myself that I belong in these circles here in this. Like I feel like an odd cat out. Bro, Patrick was so like, dude, he was just gassing like he's my hype man. He's gassing me up to like feel more involved and included. And like it like was one specific thing, like they're popping the bottles. I didn't pitch on any of the bottles at the table. And I was like, yo, bro, could I like I still drink. I don't drink anymore, but I drank at the time and I'm like, bro, could I cop a drink? And he looks at me all stupid and he's like, why are you even asking, bro? You're already here with us, bro. Grab a grab a whole bottle, bro. I do not care. And I was like, all right, bet. So
Yeah,
he was making me in a time of my life where I was unsure of myself, my potential, what I was, where I fit in and belonged. This guy, major A-list player, super tapped into the world stage and very successful and affluent. He was like gassing me up to try and make me feel like bring my energy up and be like, bro, you're like you're one of us now, bro. Like you're up. And yeah,
yeah,
just such a genuine dude, man. Genuine guy.
yeah. Overflow is great, man. He's a down to earth guy. He's willing to meet any of his fans, anybody that has supported him. I mean, he's great, right? So we went over to West Palm Beach, and obviously that was the trip of a lifetime, right? We
Insane.
had a great time, and I think we were back at the Airbnb, and we got a
It
call from
no. We're literally so we both still smoked at the time, and so we're rolling up a blunt. We're just reflecting across what has just happened. We went to this one event, met these crazy people, impromptu come to the other side of the country, meet a bunch of more crazy people, and we're just rolling up a blunt. We're like, bro, like we're leaving tomorrow. Like it's all over, bro. This was such a wild adventure that just we didn't know what was coming next, and we just went with the flow. And it's over now, bro. What's next for us? And we're like rolling up the blunt. Cue phone call.
I get this phone call from this amazing woman, Crystal, who is the founder of
Crypto Cannabis. At the time, Crystal Wampler, now Crystal Cruz. She got married to Clayton recently.
that's right. That's right. So Crystal Cruz, she called me up. She goes, "Hey, what are you and Jake doing?" Actually, yeah. So Crystal Cruz called us and she goes, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" Said, "We're in Palm Beach right now, and we are at an event." Blah blah blah. She goes, "Hey, do you think you could make it over to Santa Cruz or Santa Monica?"
Yeah, Santa Monica. Come
She
flying to
goes, "I got these.
Ontario.
Yeah, we have a guy who's a big cybersecurity guy who wants to learn about crypto. I'd love
By
to
the
have
way,
you."
retired FBI agent. Got a yacht. Like we're big boss. Big
Yeah,
boss. All right, keep going.
goes, "Hey, I want you guys to come over and hop on this yacht with us and discuss cryptocurrency with some guys. We've got a private chef. We're having some really big people come out here. We'd love to have you guys come out and discuss cryptocurrencies with us." I said, "We'll kind of look over at Jake, and I said, Jake, do you
You,
want to go to,
you got anything
you want to
going
go to,
on?
yeah, you want to go to Santa Monica?" He goes, "What? You want to go to Santa Monica? We got to go talk to a cybersecurity guy, one of the biggest in the world." He goes, "Yeah, let's do it.
Why
Let's
not?
do it." Done. Pulled up the tickets, booked the tickets, and the next day we're off to Santa Monica.
Yeah.
we landed in Santa Monica at like what 11 o'clock at night, something like
Yep.
that.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Crystal comes and picks us up. We go to our house, and the next day we go out to the yacht, and we're discussing cryptocurrencies with some of the biggest guys in cybersecurity in the world. I was very unaware of the importance of cybersecurity. Got to learn a lot about that. It was incredible.
Yep.
Great people. And
Jim was
I mean,
there.
bro,
Jim Carrey's acting coach. We got to meet He was on the yacht with the caliber of the people that were on this yacht. We didn't realize it. And by the way, the private chef we had, famous chef, that is a
shout
canopreneur,
out
Chef
shout out
Matt.
to Chef Matt. Used to cook for Snoop Dogg and all these guys. Great guy. I'm still connected with him. I love him. I think he's great. He's a badass to say the least,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. But we're just
Made the best lamb chops, dude. It
lamb
was
chops,
great.
medicated lamb chops, and we're just out here. I was having conversations with people, just vibing buddy to buddy, sharing mutual value without knowing like the people who I was talking to, what they were about, what they did. I didn't realize once again for the third time in a week. We're the by an order of magnitude, we are the small fish around here. Like
Totally,
we're talking to the people, the men behind the curtain, bro. Like on the
totally,
yeah.
totally. It was a point in Jake's life and a point in my life too where we didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We're kind of like, all right, let's grab by the bootstraps and let's take this trip and see what goes on.
What's
You know what I
next?
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we went and did that, and we went home after that, and it was memories to talk for a lifetime.
Yeah.
Jake going through you were going through your crazy thing of like,
Almost like a
what is
breakup,
next? What
bro.
am Yeah, yeah. What am I doing now? I'm kind of back at ground zero. I have no idea what I want to do, no idea where I want to go. I was at the point where I think I was in Washington and kind of going back and forth between Washington and Oregon. I was doing extractions, things like that. We went and took this trip. Man,
Changed
it,
everything.
it, it it showed the way, like, commitment and dedication and things like that will really pay off.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
at the TCG event, I met a great guy who, man, ended up he was a good friend of 50 Cent, ended up paying me very well, like,
Yes.
to go to Vegas. I went to Vegas, like, I told myself when I was in Vegas the first time, "I am never coming back here unless I get this paid for.
Yep.
This
Yep.
is
Yep.
expensive, I am not doing this." Next thing you know, I'm back in Vegas in a penthouse and getting all my drinks, all my gambling, all the fun shit paid for, and I'm consulting with this guy, and he's paying me on top of that, right?
Yep.
I did that twice in like a month. And then I flew back to Mexico City, and you know, it was incredible. The experiences were literally,
You
you
know.
can't trade them for nothing.
You know what it did for me? It.
What?
It was like a. I was going through this period where like I was really having a lot of self doubt of whether it was even possible to really hit critical mass and actually take this thing to scale and fulfill my dreams and visions. And it's like God's funny, dude. God's got a funny sense of humor, bro. It was like God put me in these situations to like just flick me in the cerebellum and go, look, pay attention, keep being locked in because this is where you're headed. It was a taste of the lifestyle of where we're headed and what we're working to achieve. And it was like a sprinkle so that like because while manifestation's super real, law of vibration, law of attraction, super real. You know what makes it way more like real, like, and while it is real, what I mean, but like you feel it, you taste it, you feel it. What makes it real is like going and getting a taste of it, like physically. You're not just coming up and spinning, doing meditations and spinning up and creating images in your mind. You actually went and you lived the experience in the life, so you got the taste of what that feels like. And that's what that was for me. It was like I realized at that point, yes, the righteous man falls 7 times, gets up 8. I realized I've built a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of cool stuff. I now have a lot of followers on the internet. People are listening to me, but I feel like a fraud because I'm back at ground zero. Everything's failed repeatedly. But at the same time that I feel that way inside, I'm coming from experience this time, and this isn't the end. This is a new beginning, and I'm only just getting more and more fired up through that experience. It showed me I'm just getting started, bro. I'm about to
Yeah,
be parabolic.
totally, totally. I go back to the time, you know, I used to when I was on the streets, I used to live in a porta potty.
Yeah.
I was I remember this very vividly of sleeping in a porta potty and, you know, people on drugs coming up at night trying to open the door and me just trying to scare them and get away. I'm in here. You're not coming in here, type things. And fast forward 5 years, I'm sitting in a penthouse, porta potties to penthouses in 5 years.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop there, right? I went to Mexico. I've been going to Mexico back and forth for now accumulatively 5 years. And man, I never thought it was possible.
Yeah.
I at the like I never knew that what I was doing was gonna happen. And so, porta potties to penthouses, all because of that moment in the mirror when I had my conversation of saying, "Hey, this is gonna change your life forever."
Yeah.
I didn't know how, didn't know when, didn't know where, didn't know what. And looking back on that, it was like, oh, this is how, where, when, and what, you know?
Let's make that tangible, right? For the viewer, for the audience. When you have that moment, that like realization where it's like it's a Steve Harvey refers to it as the turn back moment. You look at yourself, you have a deep reflecting moment. Mine was in the mirror as well, staring at myself in my eyes, in the vision, the view to the soul. And I thought, I don't know how. I've got this dream and this vision that I've had for over half a decade. And I've touched it, I've gone halfway down the board, I've regressed. I've touched it, I've retraced. I've touched it, I've retraced. I don't know how I'm going to hit critical mass with this. I have no idea. But what I can tell you with indefinite certainty, I know as a matter of fact, these things that I've actualized are just a matter of time. They are inevitable because I am, no matter how down bad I get, even if I retrace again, I will not stop until this is the reality I live. And this is the difference between wandering generalities and meaningful specifics. I don't just view the idea, the images that I've set out for myself as like a dream or a wish that I'm going after. I view it as divine ordinance from God that cast the vision into my mind to go, this is the direction for your life. This is what you are going to be. So act like it and go in that direction. Like I don't view it as a maybe, as a hopeful wish. I view it as a executable plan that I move forward on every single day of my life. And that's why it's inevitable. That turn back moment, that's in personal development, that is when you become a meaningful specific, that's when you begin what is known as the valley of despair, which is the discrepancy between who you want to be and who you are now, and then forging off, burning off all those character traits that are not what your higher self actualized is, and then learning these habits and systems, executing on them every day, even when you don't see actually any merit or growth from the habits and systems and processes you're doing over an extended period of time. And then all of a sudden, eventually, boom, everything clicks all at once. It all comes together, and now people are telling you you're an overnight success. But they didn't see the decade where you were homeless, you were strung out on drugs, you're living in porta potties. They didn't see it, but they see that you now have abundant world altering success, and they go, "Oh, you must be nice,
Yeah.
must be nice, bro." Like
It's
it's not
crazy
nice, bro.
is I had the must be nice. That's
I
like
know,
a big thing of mine.
I
Must
know,
be
bro.
nice with the Bitcoin B.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
I had somebody after a conversation of me traveling and doing these things and building this beautiful life that I've lived in the past 5 years, 10 years, right?
Mhm.
Somebody looked at me and goes, "Oh, must be nice." And I kind of was like, "Must be nice." Yeah.
Say that again. Say that
Yo,
again.
it is nice. It is nice. The hard work, the losses, the experiences that I've experienced are you don't see those every day.
Mhm,
So for a long time, I tried to share those with people because we all social media shows this image of only the successes, not the failures.
mhm. I'm guilty of that too, man. I'm guilty of it.
It's easy to show the successes.
Easy.
So easy, but we don't it's hard for us to share the losses, right?
Bro, like I
Um,
publicly talk about this too. Like I've done well over $1.5 million of revenue in my 8 years or 7.5 years. I still to this day live in one of my parents' properties. I live at home. I like the whole overnight success thing. It really does take a lot longer than you think. And these fugazi guys on the internet that rent a lifestyle, they leverage all their debt into expenditures that are bad debt so that they can live a lifestyle that's higher than they really realistically should be so that they can flex their lifestyle, sell that as a FOMO aspect into their whatever it is they're selling, and then they sell you on the dream, and then they go and live the lifestyle truly off of you buying into their fugaziness. Like that I've always been a proponent of, like, I want you to know that if you go down this path and you become intentional and you try to build a business and be an entrepreneur, it's going to be the hardest thing you've ever done. And you're going to have to eat dirt and garbage for years while you try to become the best version of yourself. And it's going to be difficult, man.
so what was the biggest mindset shift, for you after talking about all that? Like share an example to everybody about what the biggest mindset shift was to you that led to your biggest breakthrough.
I think one of the biggest ones was early on, a lot of my why, the drive behind why I was doing what I was doing, was to impress upon others of, like, look, I made it, and feel sort of accepted. When I got to the point where I realized I I am sure in and of myself the direction I'm headed, who I am now. I know who I was in 2017 and I know who I am today. And just because you want to speak negatively about, oh, you've got all these dreams and visions, but you still live at home. I got to the point where I no longer valued the opinion of others doing less than me, because I was sure in myself, knowing I know where I started, where I'm headed, and the daily actions behind closed doors that I'm executing on every day. So what someone that's doing less than me has to say about what I do has absolutely no merit or value to my life at all. I just decided, all right, I'm just going to shut up. I'm just going to work, and I'll let my results do the talking. And that changed my life, man. That, along with knowing that moment in the mirror when I went from, thinking about the wishy-washiness of how is it going to happen? What do I have to do to make it happen? How am I going to create more alignment in my day-to-day with my dreams and visions? When I went from that ideology to just going, okay, it's done. It's already done. Like today, I might not be living the lifestyle of my dreams when I close my eyes and do a meditation. That might not be my tangible reality today, but it's already done. It's literally, I will not stop. It is inevitable. It is already done. And the difference between that was having looking at the outcome as the result versus the process as the result. I went from outcome focused to input driven. And I was like, look, I might not have the Lambo yet, but my inputs on a daily basis, getting up at 3 in the morning, doing the ice bath, doing a crazy workout, losing 84 pounds in 16 months, like executing on all the stuff I'm doing. I know that the things that I can control, that I'm focusing on every day, are moving me in the direction of the lifestyle that I envision. So it doesn't even matter. Just because I don't have those things in my tangible reality today doesn't matter, because I know that I'm getting there because I'm input focused, not result driven.
So that was a part of your daily routines, right? You understood that, like, all under the umbrella of personal development, right? Like creating daily habits, creating routines, like that all helps with the personal growth.
100%, dude. You fall to the level of your systems, your habits and systems. It all comes back down to habits and systems. You do not come back down to the hopium. You're not led by the hopium of the dreams and aspirations you have. right? Watching motivational stuff about doing the things, not doing the thing, actually doing the things, doing the thing. So when you get the systems and habits and disciplines locked in every day, even if you do not see the efforts and the results of the fruits of your labor, doesn't matter, bro, because you're input driven and it's coming.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. How did you handle all the setbacks?
I changed it. Mentally. Perspective is reality, man. Look, the like I asked you early, and I said, do you regret that? And you're like, no, this is exactly what I needed to forge the character and be who I am today. Perspective is reality, and like I don't view anything that set me back. Like for example, my breakup from my company, right? Like seemingly inherently negative, but actually it's not. Everything that the devil uses to try and drag you down and pull you back. Look at the story of Job, right? He lost his family, he lost his kids, he lost his riches, his livestock, all to test his faith so that God could give him everything back times two, right? And so it's like everything that that the devil uses to attack you and try to bring you back down, it's just slingshot effect. It's being used all for the good of God to help forge your character and make you a better person. So I changed it from, why is this happening to me? Right? Ooh, boohoo, poor me. Why is this happening to me? To what is this? Why is this happening for me? What is this teaching me? What can I learn from this experience? So I stopped repeating the same errors in my ways and actually started learning from my mishaps, because every time I had a setback, oftentimes it triggered back to something I was doing inherently. And when I changed my behavior, the results started to change. And there was a lagging indicator there. It didn't happen immediately, right? You go to the gym and you bust chops for 6 hours a day, or, a week later, you're going to look in the mirror and you're not going to see any change. And you're going to be like, well, it doesn't work. So I'm just going to go back to eating McDonald's. No, there's a
And
lagging
and
metric
the
there.
and the world we live in today, it's instant gratification.
100, dude, I hate instant grat. I'm so big on delayed gratification. Like, the 80/20 rule, a lot of people live their life where they've got their job, they're just over broke. It's another good acronym. Busy is buried under Satan's yoke. I don't use the word busy anymore. Look, a lot of people live this life where 80% of their income goes to, expenditures, rent, living in their, having their flashy, flexy car that they really can't afford, but they're trying to make it seem to their peer group that they're more successful, right? And then this 20% is all their investments and stuff, whereas everything else is just negative. I do it the exact opposite, bro. I get my income, I look at what I earned, and I go, how am I going to live off of? How am I going to make all my expenditures to survive 20% so I can take 80% of my income and put it into investments? I'm going to live in my parents' house for as long as they'll let me while I'm living. I'm still paying my bills, but they're minuscule, and I'm going to bootstrap this thing all the way to $10 million. And I don't care if I get judgment online, because see, the thing is, right? If you see a carrot budding out of the ground and you see gigantic stalks and leaves, you're going to assume there's a gigantic, enormous carrot under there. And if you see tiny little buds, tiny little flowers, you're going to think, oh, there's a little baby carrot. Looks can be deceiving, right? All those big foliage could be a tiny little baby carrot, and the little tiny foliage is an enormous carrot. You just can't see it. The proverb of the Chinese bamboo tree. Are you familiar with this one?
Mm-mm.
Dude, it's beautiful, man. The Chinese bamboo tree has to be undisturbed and watered every single day for 5 years. And 4 years, 11 months, and 29 days in, nothing. It's a patch of wet dirt. You can't see anything. And then what happens in a 60-day period? It shoots up to 90 feet tall. It sprouts out of the ground, and in 60 days, it's 90 feet tall. A massive stalk, gigantic tree. But for 5 years, every single day underground, it was being watered persistently the whole time. No results were shown. You couldn't see it. Nothing. No fruits of your labor. And then all of a sudden, boom! It's a mega massive thing instantaneously almost.
Wow, that's crazy,
That's how
man.
personal development works too, man.
Totally right. We've been in this for what's going on 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 7 years now, right?
7.5 years, bro. We're
7
somewhere.
years.
We're somewhere. We're not where
We're
we're.
making progress.
Yeah. Whatever, dude. We're
Yeah,
somewhere.
we're making progress, bro. We got the experiences, we have the knowledge, right, to be able to create good habits and you know, I always like to say personal development is the first thing,
Hmm.
right? Without good personal development habits, you're stuck. You're going to be stuck. right? If you don't believe in yourself, you're gonna lose it.
Yes.
And personal development helps with that, right?
Hmm.
Discipline is huge, right? If you're not working a job where you have to go to work and you have the potential to lose your job, it's a lot easier to do that, right? As someone who works currently, it's easy for me to go to work every day because I know that I'm not going to lose my job, or I'm going to lose my job if I don't go to work.
Yep.
But if you're working from home and you're trying to build a business, it's easy to be able to give up.
Yes.
It's easy. It's an easy way out.
You're your own boss, bro. Nobody's gonna check you. You
Yeah,
are self auditing, bro. If you don't check you, nobody's checking you.
totally. Totally. So that brings us to the like most important thing of mentorship and community,
Hmm. Yes, sir.
right? I I'm newly a part of the community, the conscious creator kingdom,
You
which
got
is
that on par,
something
bro.
that is totally, I mean, bro, it's a big deal.
Yes, sir.
Like, what are you guys doing there?
Dude,
What's the whole ordeal? I'll let you talk
let
about
me
that.
let me tell you the ethos first, right? A- It's sad to say. I hate to say this, and I'm not going to name drop, even though there are some prominent names I could name drop. I'm not going to.
I'm not gonna name drop, continues to name drop.
No, I'm not going to name drop anybody. But here's something I've seen a lot. Okay, this spiritual entrepreneurship, spiritual community. Okay, I've seen this a lot, and it's what I talked about, the Fugazi hopium thing, where you rent out, or either rent out or you leverage your personal credit, get into bad debt like assets like a car you reasonably can't afford, renting out a mansion you reasonably can't afford. You maybe got a 1 month runway on it, and you just start pumping out content, and you're selling the dream of you. If you buy my program and you join my community, you can be like me and have this crazy lavish wealthy lifestyle. And we see this, it's fake. And a lot of these course sellers, these online gurus that are just complete bull jivers, and they don't have any meritocracy or real value to share. And maybe they bought a course from someone else, and they refilmed it, and they're regurgitating content that, or information that they really haven't executed on themselves. Okay, there's a lot of these guys, all right, and they're tainting the image of buying information on the internet to actually change your life, because it's real, guys. You can buy a course that actually has real value and meritocracy behind it, because the founder of the course actually did the work. They've done it themselves, so they're teaching what they know from what they did, their actions. But that's getting tainted and lost in the sauce, because there's these guys in the spiritual space that are just, they're snake oil salesmen. Okay, not real. And I saw this gap in the market where there are services very similar to what the CCK is, that are on subscriptions for multiple four figures a month, 2,500, 5,000 a month, for a community that is all encompassing, where we do A to Z, zero to hero, the full entrepreneur accelerator, where we help you refine your personal credit. We help you understand and get you access to an actual certified CPA, help you understand the legalities of different business structures, why the what's and the whys of where you would want to structure, why you would want to structure a certain way, help you understand that, help you get it going, help you get business credit and business funding. We help you understand more than 11 different business models. We help you then take that cash flow from those different business models and leverage it into the business that you are passionate about, that it will be your lifeblood, your legacy business that you want to run for decades to come. Right? We help you the whole way, not to mention, right? Cumulatively, between the four founders, we have 35 years of business practice. Why would you try to be a solopreneur and learn this thing all by yourself and learn all? Look, I made a lot of mistakes. More valuable than me telling you what to do and how to do what to do, because I can do that. More valuable than that is telling you how to do, not do what you shouldn't do, right? Because I made the mistakes. Don't go try to figure it out and make the mistakes I made and take the big L's financially, when you can just listen to me talk and explain what I did, where I messed up, so that you can learn from my mistake and not have to do that. That's the power of a mastermind and having a mentor. And you don't just get one mentor in the CCK, you get many, many. And the difference between, look, here's one thing I really hated about network marketing, that comes back to community, right? When you're on a stage, right? You got one speaker up here facing this way. The screen cutting out is not so great for this analogy, but one guy facing this way, everybody else facing this way. Tens of thousands, one guy. A community that's a mastermind principle that everybody's bringing their own inherent value in. Everybody's facing inward in a big gigantic circle. You know, isn't that kind of synchronistic? It's called a circle, huh? The for context, the community's hosted on a platform called Circle. But every everybody's facing inward, right? So there's this mastermind effect where I need you to know something. Just because I've done 1.5 million in revenue doesn't mean that someone that's a brand new, fresh, new entrepreneur in their first venture that's been doing it 3 months might not say something in conversation that actually triggers my mind to connect the pieces of the puzzle that I haven't got. And that is to say, you can learn something from everybody. Everybody you meet intentionally and purposefully because you have something to learn from them. And so that's the
You can
power
not
of the
only
community.
you can not only learn from somebody, but you can teach somebody,
100%.
right? Like
100%.
that's what you're trying to say is that in a circle we all have the ability to teach people
Yes.
because you have a different experience than I have, and this person may have a different experience than I have or than you have.
Yep.
And so we all come together to create this experience, right? You know, the number one thing in this space, I believe personally, is accountability.
Amen.
And when you have a circle of people who are on to the same goal, accountability comes very easy
Yep.
in the sense that, hey, what did you do this week?
Yep.
Even if you're working a job, right? Because I'm working a job. I'm 2025 is my year to get my investments back on track, to do things like that, right?
And we're going to make sure
Um,
it happens, brother.
well, yeah. Oh, I know. Trust me. Trust me. I know it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen, right? I really truly believe that at the bottom of my heart, with everything I needed to take a break, right? Like it got so overwhelming, I had to take a break, let my mind clear, let me go take care of some things. I'm gonna take care of those things, and when it comes time, which is now, I know there's no excuses. Burn them
Cause,
all out. I
cause
burned them all.
I'm not gonna blow sunshine rainbows up your butt. If I check you for what you did and you're like, I went to my job, I got my work in, but then I had to cut the whole weekend. I was, I know I've been pulled back from alcohol, but I had a little couple of them, and then didn't get anything done on my checklist for my business over the weekend. I'm not gonna go, oh yeah, bro, no, don't worry, bro, it's totally
You're all
cool.
right. Good
It's
job.
it's okay, bro. Next weekend. No, dude, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, bro, what are you doing, bro? Stop.
Totally, totally. You won't achieve your goals if you don't have accountability,
Amen.
especially if you're you can achieve your goals if you don't have accountability, but you got to be extremely dedicated. You have to find something you really love to do, right? Like Elon Musk and people of the sorts. But what we're doing, 90% of the clients that you have brought on
Yeah, we're
are
global.
stuck in this way, is have stuck on this way of life that we have to, you're running a track and you got to pull them out of that track. You got to pull
100%.
them out of this
Breaking out
rivet
of the
that they're in.
matrix, breaking out of the financial matrix.
Totally.
Also, another thing about that's why this is so valuable when you're in the valley of despair, when you've decided a crazy idea, I'm going to build a business and I'm going to become a globally recognized serial entrepreneur, right? Still to this day in my real tangible life, I go to the gym, I come home, I sometimes go to the pool and sit at the hot tub. Still to this day, where I'm an 8-year entrepreneur full time and I've done crazy things and crazy accolades on a daily basis in real tangible life outside away from the technology. I'm not running into many people thinking or talking or acting like this. I'm not surrounded by a bunch of entrepreneurs. I am a black sheep, a missed black sheep. Nobody around me in my personal physical life understands a thing that I'm doing. Not even close. They are like, dude, you're a crazy person. And when you're connected and plugged up into a community where
With a
eventually
bunch of crazy people.
all the crazy people, all the people, dude, in today's society, it is not normal to believe in yourself. That is not normal. Okay. So we're all believing in ourselves collectively together, and other people are believing in you too. that is very powerful because like in the valley of despair, it is one of the hardest things, and I still battle with this. I don't care about what random people on the internet think about me, but I mean, I have to battle this because this is not worthy of it doesn't help me grow. It's actually holding me back a little bit, but I still value and care about what my parents think. Right, my parents don't fully understand or believe in what it is that I'm doing, and when you're early on in your ventures and your process and the valley of despair, like I said, you're the people on the internet that you meet along your process are your biggest supporters and believers. It's hard to come over the hump of going, Mom, Dad, check out this cool thing I'm building. And they're like, you're an idiot. You need to get a job. Like, where's the money, bro? And it's like,
I,
relax, bro,
that's the
relax.
crazy thing. We met in 2017, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Met in 2017 online,
Yep. Didn't
built
meet.
this super strong friendship, and didn't meet until the time I called you to come to Vegas.
Yeah, bro. 5 years. That's exactly what I talked about while you were in the bathroom, bro.
Yo,
Which
that's
we're not
crazy.
cutting, bro.
No, that's fun. Dude, that's crazy. Like we really did like Spencer, for example. I didn't meet Spencer for up until 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Now I see Spencer twice a year,
Yeah.
every year. You know what I mean? Every time I'm in Phoenix, I hit you up.
We go
Hey,
get
where you
lunch,
at? What are you
bro.
doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's link up. You'll meet the greatest people that are on the same journey you're on. You're not alone.
Yeah. And that's a hard one too.
And
If you
we
feel
tend,
alone early.
bro, bro, bro,
Yeah. Well, dude, the
bro.
whole and it's just like call it I want to talk about faith again too. The path to heaven feels like hell and the path to hell feels like heaven. And like when you're walking on this path all by your lonesome and the whole world is telling you go this way and you're like, I don't know, bro. I'm going to go this way, bro. Everybody thinks you're a crazy person and you are actually. You're an anomaly. But that's the beautiful
Yeah,
thing. Anomalies are the ones that reach critical velocity, terminal velocity and escape the matrix, dude.
yeah. I think to close all this in, it doesn't matter where you're coming from.
Yeah.
It matters where you're going, and it matters who you surround yourself with.
Amen.
That's the most important thing, right? Like it, we've heard this several times. I'm going to say it again. You are who you surround yourself with.
Yes.
You become who you surround yourself with. Your five closest friends are who you become.
Yes.
I've been in porta potties. I've slept in the rain with a tent wrapped around me, not sleeping in the tent with it wrapped around me. And I've slept in penthouses. I've lived in Puerto Rico. I've lived in Mexico. I've lived all over the place, right? I've done things that people only dream of, but that's because of the people I'm surrounded with.
Yeah. You know what? We dreamed
So,
of it. And then we
bro,
we dreamed of it. We saw it in our mind
bro,
first, bro.
bro, I'm excited for this next journey with the conscious creator kingdom because I already know a lot of this stuff, but I live in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of people who are kind of like
Yeah, bro.
they're stuck in the cycle of life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's easy to get trapped.
Yes,
It's
it
easy
is.
to get very trapped. It's
So
easy to
easy.
get trapped. Thank God we live in a world of connectivity where it's easy to do something like, bro, we didn't even have this planned.
No, this is not the
We didn't
2 hour call, bro. And I was like, I'm filming podcasts all day today, bro. I'm trying to get a couple. What are you doing? And you're like, I'll do a podcast. And I was like, lit. Let's go.
yeah, yeah, we totally didn't have this planned. But I think at the end of the day, who you surround yourself with is the number one most important thing. If you're surrounding yourself with people who drink all the time, who party all the time,
You're gonna
who
drink and
don't
party.
have, yeah, you're gonna drink and party, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that.
In
If you're
moderation.
if you're 20 years old, hey, go and live it up. I saw a video the other day was people aren't out partying and drinking enough
Yeah. That's insane.
because we're stuck on our phones.
Yeah. That's the new party. Scrolling TikTok, bro.
Get off get off your phone.
Dude, wait. You know what I want to say about
Go
that,
and
bro?
go and hey, go and meet the gamer that you have been talking to
Watch.
for 3 years.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Go and meet that guy. Go figure out what it's gonna take for you to go up and meet up with that guy.
Yep.
My 5 closest friends, I met online, bro.
Yeah.
I met traveling and doing business with a tequila brand in Mexico City. But what? Like, these are my closest people that I look for when I'm having a hard time.
Yeah.
Not my mom, not my dad, not my sister, not my brother, not my family, not anybody I went to high school with. Nobody's on that level. It's the people that I've met on my journey to becoming successful.
Amen.
To be success obviously is defined by everybody else. For me,
How
it's
do-
freedom. It's the ability to go and travel. Hey, we're planning a trip to Cartagena, Colombia for my birthday,
Yeah.
my 30th birthday. Like, bro, I'm gonna have my 5 closest friends. We're gonna go out and we're gonna have a blast.
Yep.
That's the freedom that I want. I don't want to be stuck in this life of, oh, I can't, I shouldn't do that. I gotta do this or I gotta do that or I gotta come on, man. Live life a little bit.
A little bit.
I want to read I want to read this for me. This is my final thought. Um
While you get that pulled up, I want to say a few things, right? Because
yeah,
Andrew Tate talked about first off, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal, which means if you know where you are, you know where you're going, and you're progressively realizing the worthy ideal, you are successful. Which means the moment you become a meaningful, specific, you set a vision for your life and you start moving in that direction, no matter how slow, even if it's a step a day, you are now a success. Like your life tangibly looks the same, but you're now successful because you've set a vision for your life and you're going in that direction. That's how I define success. I think it's beautiful. Now, also, Andrew Tate to talk about, fun. I actually got to this point in my life where like I have to schedule fun because I don't I don't when I go out and like if I'm in a setting like a club, right? And everybody's drinking and stuff. I don't have fun having fun anymore. I don't think fun is fun anymore because I'd rather be doing productive action towards my dreams and visions. And also I'm in bed by 7:45 and I get up at 3 a.m. 7 days a week anyways to go to the gym and I love it. I get to do that. I'm locked in. But like I got to the point now where like fun like when we go to what Bogota, we're going to Colombia, and we're gonna live it
yeah,
up for a little while,
yeah,
and that's gonna be a blast. I'm gonna be fully unplugged. Jim Rohn says, when you're at the beach, be at the beach. When you're in the office, be at the office. I'm there, and this is my I get to live this live. So I'll be able to have fun and be fully unplugged there and have fun in the a party environment. But on my regular day to day, I'm at this phase in my life where I'm in a building phase and it's like fun isn't fun. I find my fulfillment in the daily sacrifices of executing on delayed gratification, knowing that other people in my age bracket are not doing this and scouting that out 1 decade, 2 decades. I'm going to be living the dreams that I've visioned for myself. So that's where I'm at
totally.
with that. What do you want to
I
read?
had a good friend of mine. I'm not going to name drop, but I had a good friend of mine tell me this. You motivated me as well, bro. Seeing you in PR, Mexico, just living, bro, made me realize I need to live more. Spend the cash, book the flight, book the hotel, talk to that girl, eat that food. He said, your confidence is way bigger than mine. And I've always struggled with that, but it's always going to come back. Build bonds with friends. The money literally is just a tool. Don't let it hold you down.
Amen.
Right? Like, it's easy for us to get stuck in this life. But remember, I'm not going to be the guy that died or is on sitting at my home at 70 years old saying, man, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that.
Yeah,
Living with regrets is going to be the death of me.
it's a bane, dude. It's bad.
And that I will not do is
And
live with regrets.
we've talked a lot about making money and stuff, and like I want it to be abundantly clear that money is not the goal. The freedom to do whatever you want is the goal.
Just
It just so
totally.
happens that cash flow from investments and from passive earning income streams, MSIs, multiple streams of income, that you're building businesses that are making money, and for a couple years in the Valley of Despair, you're focused on building this cash flow, building this money, making this money. But it's really not, you're not after the money. This isn't like a greed based modality. It's like I have a number in my head that when I hit this number, I am now fully financially free outside the financial matrix, and now I have freedom to go do, be, have whatever I want because I built
Yeah.
that. So we're not after money, we're after freedom.
Yep. Totally.
Yeah.
Man, Jake, that's a good conversation.
Bro, we could probably go for like 5 hours, bro. We
I think we got another one in us. I
yeah.
think we got another one in us
Run
for
it
sure.
back, run it back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
run
bro.
it back.
Dude,
Um,
I know. You have anything to say?
yeah, dude.
Okay.
I'm gonna see you in Cartagena, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna be there.
Yeah,
I'm putting it on my list. The passport is coming, bro. I'm gonna do it
that's
today.
dude. You got to make it
I
happen,
do
bro.
have to do
Because
it because I'm gonna be on a I'm gonna be in Dubai in February. So I really you know, I'm literally probably gonna fly from there to straight to Dubai. It's gonna be lit. But yeah, no, I'll be there.
listen, bro.
We're gonna party it up.
This is the key
Oh,
to
I
no
have mine.
regrets.
I still have mine. It's just expired. So 10 year. What are the odds that it expires right when I'm about to need it? What are the odds, bro? It's just like that. So lame. But no, guys, audience, there are so many freaking gems in this thing, dude. This is a saucy one. Probably the most value packed one I've done. This is episode 34. Actually, numbers are really kind of fictitious. I don't even really know the upload order I'm gonna put these out in, but yeah, it doesn't matter.
Give me. Wait. Let me go to the bathroom. You
Again?
can talk. I gotta pee, dude. I've been sipping on coffee the
Bro,
whole
wait.
time, dude.
I'll close her out. I'll close her out. Give me 37 seconds, dude.
Dude, I
You
don't
need to
have
start
that
counting.
in me, dog.
Listen,
I don't
listen.
have it in me, dude.
Bro,
I don't. I
don't
really
leave me
don't.
like this, bro. Come
I
on.
can,
All right, look,
I'll
guys,
be right back.
dude, it's gonna be over by the time you get back. Say
Then
your
let
closing
it be over,
statements.
dude.
Closing statements. Closing statements.
I already said my closing
Papi
statement.
Manchero.
Papi Muñeño.
Papi Manchero. This is the end, and have a beautiful, blessed day. See you guys.